was a 20-year-old female who was involved in some study for renal perfusion. So first of all, I want to say that our system has changed from cardiovascular system to renal system, the study system. So it will be really fun to study renal system after we have studied cardiovascular system, because cardiovascular, respiratory, and renal are really linked to each other, and the questions in USMLE that you will receive will usually be interlinked. There was one question: which of the following would be the best to prevent heart failure, or like that. In this 10, it will come, I'll say. So yeah, now in this experiment, she had no history, she was taking no drugs, no smoking. She's basically an ideal patient, which rarely exists, right? So family history is unremarkable. Physical examination reveals no findings. Now there was a drug which was given, which is acting somewhere in the renal vasculature. Okay, it's not working on the renal tubule, it's working on the vasculature. That's very important. Now, what does it do? It increases the GFR, it increases the filtration fraction. Okay, so that's how it works. Now there is an efferent arteriole, right? It comes from efferent arteriole, comes from here. It loops right like this. Here there is glomeruli, and then there is efferent arteriole. This is your efferent arteriole, efferent A. Okay, it loops somewhere here and it goes out, right? It loops here and it goes out. Okay, so this is how your kidney looks. So this is efferent arteriole, this is your efferent arteriole, and this is your glomerulus, right? What things can happen? What things can happen here? So if you dilate this efferent arteriole, what would happen? More blood will come in, right? More blood would come in. That would just increase, GFR. That would increase the GFR, right? But efferent arteriole is not, dilated, or nothing has happened. So that would definitely increase the GFR. That would increase the filtration fraction too, which is what we need. So let's find an option if it is efferent dilation. They don't have an option saying efferent arterial dilation, because that would have been a correct answer. Okay, so what else can we do? What if we constrict the efferent arteriole? What would happen? The blood that is coming in, there would decrease in renal blood flow ultimately. Okay, but what would happen to filtration fraction? What would happen to filtration fraction? Why no change, Arjun? Why no change? We are decreasing the glomerular, the amount of drug or any substance coming to the glomeruli is decreasing. So why is filtration fraction not changing? What is filtration fraction? It is a fraction, right? So there has to be numerator, there has to be denominator. What is the denominator? What is the numerator? See, filtration fraction, that is the amount filtered upon total that reach. That means the amount filtered would be the tubular fluid, the concentration in tubular fluid that is filtered, divided by renal blood flow, right? Agree? Your renal blood flow is decreasing, that would decrease the renal, tubular fluid, but ultimately both would decrease in a proportionate way. So fraction would not change. Okay, that's the reason filtration fraction remains the same. But whereas in dilation also, I guess filtration fraction would not remain same, because that efferent arteriole wasn't dilated. Now we'll come on to efferent arteriole part. What if we constrict the efferent arteriole? We constricted the efferent arteriole, right? So what would happen is renal blood flow would definitely decrease, but the amount of blood reaching that part of glomeruli would not decrease. Agreed? The amount of blood coming in is more, coming out is less. So it has only one way to go, inside the kidney, right? So that would lead to increase in GFR, increase in filtration fraction. Why increase in filtration fraction? Why? The numerator increases, right? GFR is increasing, and the denominator, RPF, renal plasma flow, renal blood flow, that would decrease, right? So both are favoring the increase in filtration fraction. Denominator decreasing or numerator, both would increase the filtration fraction. So that has to be our answer, right? So efferent arteriole construction is our answer. Now let's see another. There is one more case, efferent arteriole dilation. What would happen if efferent arteriole dilates? The amount of blood coming in here is same. I mean, the proportion of blood coming, not amount. Amount will definitely increase because efferent arteriole is dilating. Okay, so there is more space for blood to go out. But the amount of time the blood is spending in the GFR, in this glomerular section, is decreased, right? So there will be decrease in GFR. Would there be decrease in GFR in this if we dilate the efferent arteriole? Would there be a decrease in GFR? GFR should fall, right? Which is the reason you usually, sometimes you prevent inhibiting this angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2, what it does is it constricts this part, right? Efferent arteriole, it constricts. So in certain diabetic patient in whom diabetic nephropathy has taken place, okay, the GFR is already too low. Now if you give him ACE inhibitor or ARB, this part will dilate, right? The GFR is already too low in a diabetic nephropathy patient. Now if you give him ACE inhibitor, this would dilate, that will lead to more decrease in GFR, that would immediately precipitate your renal failure. So usually this is a concept behind it, and you would receive a question regarding this in your USMLE. So make sure you know this concept.
Thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe for more.